Okay, I'm super excited. I'm finally going to start on the FC-150. So I'll show you guys what I got going on. I'm going to start with some simple stuff first. Just vacuuming out the inside of the cab here. Okay, I got it cleaned up a little bit. Looks somewhat better. I decided the next thing I'm going to do is pull the spark plugs and spray some PB Blaster down all the holes. I don't think that it's been more than 3 or 4 years since this engine ran, but I'd like to put some lube down there before I try to start it. Don't want any crud to fall in there, so we'll see if I can clean around those spark plugs. That one wasn't very tight. That one wasn't either. Plug looks pretty good. Okay, shoot a little PB Blaster down these spark plug holes. Let that soak for a while. Probably won't be able to put a battery in it until tomorrow anyway, so.
So we're using this little building as a temporary breeding pen for our chickens. So Ben is cutting the hole in the side so the chickens can go out to this little yard area here. And then we're gonna put some roosts up in it as well. The chickens are only gonna be in there for another like 2 weeks. Miller's always so helpful. Good job, close the door. Good job, baby. So now he's gonna cut a hole in the side so that they have a door to come out. So now we've got some roosts up here in this little coop, so those hens can roost at night. And like I said, this pen is actually just temporary, but it's nice to have options. Anytime you need to be able to move animals around on a homestead, it's nice to have options. So this pen can now either be a bunny pen or a chicken pen.
Back to work on the FC-150. Ready to move over to the passenger side. Start cleaning that up a little bit. I think the first thing I need to do is get that engine cover lifted out of there and see what all's hiding over there. Okay, set the engine cover in the back out of the way. So let's see. Yeah, look at that, still got a battery in it. Looks like April of '07. And there's some parts down there. Hey, good. Window crank. Now I wonder if there's a door handle in there. wiper arm. Battery terminal cleaner. Gonna need that in a minute. There is a door handle in there. Perfect. I was wondering where the missing pieces went for the driver's side. That'll be good. Yeah, let's see what else. Petrified armrest. And a jar of pickles. No. Let's see. Some parts and pieces in there. Looks like some plugs to go in some holes somewhere. I decided to lay out all the pieces that I found in the FC-150. The missing door handles and window roller knob. And then I'm pretty sure these rubber grommets go on the, to cover the hole in the door panel for the roller knobs and the door handles. And then looks like a bell housing inspection cover. So I don't know if that's missing off this one or if that was an extra one. So I will have to be putting these parts back on. Are you taking a picture of those chickens? Good job. Here, take a picture of those over there. Over there. Okay, don't touch the buttons.
Maybe have to give them a little time. Some good footage. Should we take care of your bunnies? Let's feed your bunnies. Yeah? Good job. Are you taking pictures? Wow, good job. Good job, baby. Now, should we take care of your bunnies? Come on. Come feed your bunny. Okay, good job. Yeah, good job. Feed your bunnies. Thanks. Thanks. Let's feed your bunnies. Here, let's put this down. Let's put this down. Good job. Your bunnies in here. Yeah, you gotta feed your babies. Yeah. See, they're hungry. Take them in here.
Okay, let's see if we can get that old battery out. That one is really bad. All right, well, get the channel locks out and see if I can get these pulled off here. Okay, sprayed some PB Blaster on here, so let's see if we can get these off. That one came off nice and easy. And that one did as well. Perfect. All right, let's get that old battery out of there. Hey, look at that, EverStart. Maybe I should have just tried it without taking it out. And the battery tray is actually still intact down there. That's pretty surprising. Not completely rusted through. So that's great. Look at this side of the motor while we're over here. Somebody's converted it to an alternator, so that's good. There's the starter down there. There's the coil. So let's clean this up a little bit with the shop vac and then get a battery and see if we can get it to turn over. Okay, got the old battery out of there, and I also vacuumed down in this hole. This is how thick the gunk and crud is down there. So I'll have to get that cleaned out a little bit better someday. Well, let's clean up these battery terminals and go ahead and get a battery and put in there. Since this was laying there, I'll go ahead and just put it to use. Probably have to use two hands to do this. Okay, another thing I like to do before cranking on an old engine that hasn't run in a while is disconnect the fuel line or drain the gas tank so you don't end up pumping a bunch of old gas into the carburetor or potentially pumping it all over the place if you've got a broken hose or fuel line along the way. So I pulled the drain plug out of this and the tank's already empty. I'm a little bit disappointed to see a bunch of rust on the plug. So that means this tank's gonna need cleaned out. So that'll be something else to do on down the road. Very common problem when I buy these old Jeeps, the ignition key is missing. Somebody lost it over the years, so it did not come with a key. So I'm gonna need to swap that key switch out before I can turn the engine over. So I brought my 12-volt electrical box over from the other shop as I'm still transferring stuff. This is just a menagerie of stuff that I've collected, and I got these at a swap meet or yard sale a while back, so should be able to use one of these key switches for the FC. So I'll go ahead and switch that out. Make sure don't have the battery hooked up while doing this, because you end up touching the posts onto something that you shouldn't. And then hopefully they left enough wire that it'll come down below the dash so I can see what I'm doing down here. Oh yeah. All right. All right, now it's just a matter of switching all the wires over to this other key switch. All right, got the key switch replaced. So let's check the oil, make sure there's some oil in it. And there is, right on the full mark. And then let's pull the spark plugs back out so we can turn it over with no spark plugs in it, just to build some oil pressure. All right, I took one of the batteries out of the tractor and put in here. So let's put the cable on and see what happens. Make sure it's in neutral. Check the oil, unhook the fuel line, put the spark plugs out. Now at this point, I like to set my expectations super low. So when I turn the key on to the first click, I'd like to see the oil pressure light come on. And then I'd like the starter to actually engage and turn over, but we'll see what happens. Oh, we got the oil pressure light on. That's awesome. All right, I'll go ahead and hit the key. And she turns over. All right. I'll go ahead and turn it over until it builds oil pressure. And it did that fairly quickly. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put these spark plugs back in and see if we got any spark. I remembered that this one spark plug looks like it is oil fouled a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace that one with a new one before I try to start it. Go over to the spark plug drawer. Make sure it's gapped. Looks good. All right, I'll go ahead and stick these in and tighten them down. I've had this thing for a few years and I've never actually even used it. So this should be pretty handy. So when we turn it over, if it has spark, this light should light up. And we got 0 spark. Bummer. All right, well, I'll have to look into that and see what's going on. The points are burnt, and this is one of the worst caps I've ever seen. Look at the corrosion on the contact. No wonder we don't have any spark. Let's see what the end of the rotor looks like. It doesn't look too bad. All right, well, I'll clean this up and file the points and see if we can get some spark. Okay, I filed the points, and now I want to check and see if the condenser and the coil are working. So I'm going to close the point gap with a screwdriver and then see if it'll fire the coil when I release that. And it did, got a blue spark, so that's a good sign. I got a new cap, rotor, and points for the FC. Even after cleaning on the old cap and points, I was unable to get spark to the spark plugs. So we'll get these new parts installed and see if we can get some spark. After replacing the cap, rotor, and points and installing some used plug wires, I'm finally ready to test fire the FC. So let's dump some gas down the carburetor and see if she'll start. Runs. Better get some water in it and get it ready for a test drive. Next step on the FC-150 is to replace the rotten fuel hose and the old fuel filter. Put a little gas in the tank, see if we can get this thing running from the tank, and then next step, go for a test drive. Well, before I go on a test drive, I figured I probably should work on the brakes. And the master cylinder was known to be leaking last time it was driven, the previous owner told me, so I need to go ahead and replace that. And inconveniently, it is located behind the dash. This is how you're supposed to fill it, through this little hole right here. And the master cylinder itself is right there. So that's going to be a fun one. Got the master cylinder out. Was no easy task. Had to take a whole bunch of stuff apart to get it to drop out of there, including the clutch pedal. But I got it out. Are you guys helping? Yes! What size wrench is that? You're such a good helper, Miller.
We're at the shop. Miller's doing some sweeping.
Got the whole crew today.
The wind's blowing outside, so we're all in here.
Ruger, come here. Sit. Sit down.
How's it coming?
It's coming. The deeper I get, the more I find wrong.
Oh boy. Cool. Still doesn't have any seats in it.
Yeah. You need seats when you can't drive it or stop it.
Oh boy. Oh, what a grease bomb.
Yeah. Dad just sent me over a pressure washer today, so I'm going to get it pressure washed.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Quite the update.
Fun.
What are you doing? Did you find some tools? Oh, you want to turn on the radio? You want some music? Okay. Can you turn it on? We'll have to figure out how to turn it on, huh?
Yeah.
Oh. That's some funny music. You're gonna dance anyway? That's when you know you got rhythm. You can dance to static. Good job, baby.
When I put water in it, it immediately started leaking out the bottom of this little reservoir can. It is rusted out, and the solder joint where the bracket's welded on is leaking, and the bracket is broke. So that needs some attention. So, more repairs needed. looks like that bracket had already been welded at one time. So I'm gonna grind that weld out and then get it welded up.